What's up, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and this video comes to you by request from the comment section. God bless the anonymous person that put this in the comment section. I really appreciate it. Seriously, comments are like $1 million to me right now. It means a lot. So thank you to blank person for this question. But essentially the question was, basically, would you make a video with tips and basically any opinions on what people with sedentary day jobs can do if they have a fat loss goal? So what do you do if you're stuck at home, working from a desk, working from a computer from the same room all day? What do you do if you have a fat loss goal and you can't move all day? What's the way around that? So I've basically broken down this question into 6 talking points, tips, considerations, things that I just would like people to think about if you are in this situation. So number 1, just simply, I think it's worth acknowledging that you are at a disadvantage. It's kind of like if you want to skateboard, but you only have one leg, you're kind of at a disadvantage, right? Like people with 2 legs are probably going to be able to skateboard a little bit more effectively and a little bit easier than someone with 1 leg. Can you skateboard with 1 leg? Probably. This is a terrible analogy. Forget that. Number 1, acknowledge that you're at a disadvantage. Just leave it at that. It's going to be harder for you because you don't have the rhythm of having to get in the car, going to work, parking, even just simple stuff like transitioning from the parking lot to your workspace, buzzing around the office all day, going to this person's office, blah, blah, blah. All these ways that people just accumulate what I like to call life steps. You don't have that because you're either sedentary at work hardcore or you are like legit at home. A lot of people moved home during quarantine to work, and that's even more extreme because there's just really nowhere for you to go. Like you have everything you need in your house, and just bumming around the house, walking from the kitchen back to the office a few times a day, the bathroom here and there, it's just not going to be enough to accumulate to the sort of calorie burn that somebody with a more normal 9 to 5 working outside the house routine might have. So simply put, just acknowledge that you're at a bit of a disadvantage, and it's okay because you can overcome that, but just be okay with that on the front end so that you can plan accordingly. My second talking point, or my second thought here, is just think about whether or not you can squeeze walks into your routine. So if you have to be at work, you have to be at the computer at 9 o'clock, can you get up a little bit earlier? Yes, unpopular opinion, getting up to walk. Can you get up a little bit earlier and go for a lap around the neighborhood? Can you do that? If the weather's nice, can you do it over your lunch break? Can you do it after work? Is there any part in your day where you can just make time and space in your calendar for a little bit of extra walking? Another point on that level is just simply, is there anything that you can do for your job that allows you to actually move around? So like if there's a work phone call that you have to take and it's purely a phone call, you don't need to be looking at a computer, it's not a Zoom call or anything like that. You could literally just be wherever like you are on a phone call. Can you walk? Can you step outside? Can you walk around the parking lot at work? Can you walk around your neighborhood while you're on the phone with this person? If you can, that's an amazing way to just multitask. It's so effortless to walk. And I think a lot of people just don't think like, oh yeah, I could do this outside if I wanted to. I just don't do it. Thirdly, just lean into the fact that getting your caloric deficit is going to have to mostly come from a reduction in food. Like there may not actually be a solution for everyone who lives a sedentary life due to work, and that's okay. Like you don't have to move at all to lose body fat. You really don't. Does it mean that your food has to come down? Yeah, totally. You can't like something has to give, right? You either have to reduce the amount of food that you're taking in, or you have to move more. You have to burn calories in some kind of way. Like that's always the tipping scale that you're working with. So it's just worth maybe saying, I'm gonna have to get most of my deficit through a reduction in food. And to that point, one practical takeaway I think I have for you is you just need to ditch the snack life. Like I would totally ditch the snack life. It's just way too easy, especially if you work from home. Man, it's just way too easy to get bored and mosey into the pantry and dig on something like pretzels or M&Ms or really anything that's just simply unnecessary. I think one of the hardest things probably about working from home is that you have to create boundaries in your house. So what I would do is I would literally quit snacking. I would commit to eating 3 or 4 times a day, meals, and just ditch snacks. And as sort of a second level to that point, it sounds extreme, but just get the snacks out of your house, because I think one luxury that people who at least work outside the home have is that you at least don't have your pantry staring you in the face all day long. I mean, do you have to face unique challenges like a workroom that has tons of cakes and pizzas and leftover food all the time? Totally. But it's not literally your pantry that was designed for your own immediate happiness at your fingertips all the time. So if you're at home from quarantine, working from home now for the foreseeable future, consider ditching the snack life for sure. The next one I've got is simply to push for active hangouts when social opportunities come up. So because you're sedentary all day, again, whether you're at home for quarantine or you just have a sedentary day job and you do work outside the home, push for active hangouts when the friends are trying to get together. Maybe it sounds cheesy, but instead of like the classic pizza and beer hangout, you could be like, hey, do you guys want to go to the park? You guys literally want to just walk around. Do you guys want to go downtown? We could walk around, like here in Columbia, Missouri. Do you guys want to walk downtown, see the columns, bring a Frisbee? If you have friends that have dogs, like go to the dog park, like walk around, just find activities that you can be active during, just because you're not getting that throughout the day. So I'm just saying, let's be creative about finding ways to basically, again, multitask. I get to tick the social box, hanging out with friends while being more active to sort of compensate for my sedentary lifestyle. And then the last point I have simply is you might want to consider doing sort of traditional cardio more than I would maybe recommend for most people. If walking really is just hard for you because your job is so sedentary, then it might be worth your while to experiment with some incline treadmill walking in the evenings, especially if the weather sucks, which it did here in Missouri up until recently. Get on the incline treadmill, walk at an incline. It's a little bit more effective than walking on a flat surface for obvious reasons. You could also do things like the Stairmaster. The Stairmaster is phenomenal for burning calories. It's super intense. You'll be drenched in sweat. Your heart rate will be through the roof. Very, very intense. You could do that. You could do the assault bike. You could jump into a cardio class. All of these things are just going to be additional ways that you could sort of get more of a caloric burn going. I mean, truthfully, you could even join a CrossFit gym. CrossFit gets a lot of hate. I've never done it personally because I prefer training for pure hypertrophy. But if you just didn't really want to think about it, man, I just don't think a lot of people are going to be gaining weight even with a sedentary job while going to a CrossFit box multiple times per week. You'd have to be really doing some damage in the kitchen, which can be done, to be gaining weight while doing CrossFit. But just think about that. So I would maybe encourage cardio considerations more for hyper sedentary people than I would people with maybe a more normal active lifestyle. And I think that's going to do it. It was originally 6 points. I think I blended a few of them together, but nonetheless, I communicated everything I wanted to in this video. So again, thank you to the anonymous person who requested this video. I do appreciate you. And I hope this was helpful, sincerely. I tried to think through this because, as always, the laws of energy balance apply. If you want to lose fat, you've got to get into a caloric deficit. Am I beating a dead horse? Probably, but it's the truth you deserve to hear. You have to get into a caloric deficit for long enough to see the results. You either accomplish that by reducing the food you're eating strategically. You don't have to be insane about it, but strategically, modestly, over time. Or you increase your energy output. If you're considering a body recomposition goal, it's probably worth saying that I do coach people through that process. So if you're interested, definitely hit me up. I do have slots available right now, legit, and it would be awesome to have you. Lastly, thank you for watching the video. If you haven't already, like it right now, like the video. You'd be a superhero if you subscribed. Hitting the notification bell is bonus points in my book of favor to you. Sincerely, I appreciate it. I've loved making these videos. If you have more ideas, let me know. I will see you guys next time.